Welcome to another episode of the Catalogue podcast. I'm wearing pants. This is the podcast where we, and by we, I mean me, Apo, and my co-host / co-founder Vincent, we dive into the streaming services and we tell you, the listener and the viewer, what is worth it and what is not. Vincent, we're on a new channel. No one watches this.
I hope that's not how you're going to start off every podcast.
What do you mean? Like the nature of just jumping like to and fro? I'm swinging lefts, I'm swinging rights, or I'm wearing pants?
Well, which one do you think?
The swinging.
Yeah, that's the one. That's actually the one. All right.
But you can't see if I'm wearing pants on this, and I don't want people thinking things.
Bro, I don't have to preface every Zoom meeting I'm in with, hey, I'm actually wearing pants today. I don't have to do that.
Yeah, but if you did that in 2020 when the pandemic started, you'd get all the laughs at the office meeting. You can't argue with that. What we've realised here is we've missed an opportunity to have said, I'm wearing pants in the office meetings. I mean, you would have got sent to HR, but people would be laughing even in HR.
This is hilarious, but we're going to have to suspend you without pay for a week.
Like, I mean, that's funny as hell, but you got to go.
You got to go.
Vincent, we are doing 2006's very own X-Men Last Stand. But Vincent, can I tell you something? They should have called this X-Men 100 Bands, because this has a budget of $210 million, and it had a box office of $460.4 million. I'm just getting right into it, Vincent, because you got dinner at 5:45.
You wrote that joke down, didn't you?
I haven't got nothing written down, but I was thinking about it all day today.
Okay.
So this came out 26th of March 2006. Now, on the Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 6.6 out of 10. A 57%, and on the IMDb, it's got a 6.6 out of 10. Now, this is directed by Brett Ratner. Now, I'm not sure about Brett Ratner, but like, man's ain't singer, so that's okay. We're in the red here.
No, he's not doing good things though.
Is Brett Ratner not doing good things?
He's not doing good things. I was having a look.
Jesus Christ.
Which is a shame, because he directed Rush Hour and also Money Talks, which are some of my favourite movies. But yeah, no.
They're top quality films.
Top quality films.
It's like with the last name with the words rat in it. Man with a last name with the words rat in it is not doing good things, is what you're telling me.
He also founded a production company called Rat Pack Entertainment.
I did notice that. I think that was on the top billing of this film.
Yeah, no, he's.
I believe so.
He's not. I think he's. I don't know if he's cancelled, but he hasn't done a movie since 2017, and that was when he was accused of some not good things.
So he's living up to his last name, or at least the first part of his last name.
He absolutely is.
Well, don't worry about the rap, man. We're only focusing on the non-cancelled people of this film, the people that deserve to have their art looked at, and also their performances reviewed on a podcast called the Back Catalogue Podcast, the podcast where we. But Vincent, this is X-Men Last Stand. I don't know if you've got a synopsis there, but I got a synopsis here if you want me to read that, and then we'll get into this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So a government-supported laboratory finds a cure for the mutants, and the DNA of a powerful boy is used for it. See, they're jumping around there. That makes sense to me. However, the mutants must give up their powers and become human, hence splitting them. That's a synopsis that I've just read.
That was not coherent at all. Someone wrote that, pressed randomize the location of 15 words in that sentence, in that synopsis, and posted it.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I'm telling you, that's what happened.
I thought it was you get into a scientific article, you read the abstract, and you're thinking this is too much for me. Like there's too much science here that I can't even understand this. That's where I thought we were heading. Because whenever I said, however, the mutants must give up their powers and become human, hence splitting them, I was thinking, are we talking mitosis? Are we talking
Hey, bro,
like
we're
splitting of
talking
the
atoms,
cells here
bro.
or what?
We're splitting the atoms here.
We're splitting atoms,
Right.
man. But Vincent, can I just give us a couple brief things that I want us to talk about? But we'll do it briefly, of course, and then you can get to your dinner. But Vincent, I want to talk about this cast, this specific X-Men cast,
I was
because this
just
is
about
the
to say
X-Men
that.
cast.
I was just about to say that because I'm looking at the cast and like they've casted people. Oh, they got
They're
Kelsey.
casting
They got
people, man.
Kelsey
There's
Grammer
people.
out here. They got Fraser.
I know.
They got Fraser.
I mean, they got Kelsey Grammar School is what they got, and that's crazy.
And that's hilarious. But also, like Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
let me do the lead up where you're jumping into Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
What do you mean the lead up? This is the main content. I don't need any lead up to this.
Yeah, but I want to tell you what else I want to talk about.
All right, fine. You run this podcast then. The podcast where we.
Well, it's true. It is the podcast where but like, I need to preface things.
Bro, I'm hungry.
All right, well, we'll just talk about other things then, I guess. Let's get into the people.
Go.
Let's get into the people.
Go. Talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Well, I just wanted to specifically make sure that we touch on the villain of this piece and how the villain of this piece makes the plot progress in some weird and interesting ways. And then I want to talk about the mutant cure and some of the funny things that come from the fact that Leech becomes a member of the X-Men Society. But we'll get into that. So Vincent, let's start with Kelsey Grammer's. Since you're here at Kelsey Grammar School and you want to harp on Kelsey Grammar School, let's start at Kelsey Grammer's.
Well, first of all, Kelsey Grammer, Beast in this one looks infinitely better than Beast in X-Men First Class.
He does, man. This is 100%. If there was a character that was done really well from this movie, that was done better than what has been done in newer movies, in more recent movies, Beast is 100% that character.
Yeah,
he
honestly,
looks cool.
Yeah, but he doesn't look like he looks like a man that's half man, half beast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one in X-Men First Class looks like he's half man, half like rubber suit with some hair on it.
and four lips, as you said.
And
He's
four
got multiple
lips. No, that I can't watch that. I can't watch that for that reason specifically.
And also, I know that they're at different points. We're talking, X-Men Last Stand versus X-Men First Class. I know that they're at different points in their lives. Obviously, Beast has accepted who he is somewhat, and in X-Men Last Stand, and in the X-Men First Class, he's not accepting who he is. So they're at different points. But when you see, Beast, Kelsey Grammer's very own, upside down in a room reading a book, like you're thinking this is top quality content. You know what I'm saying?
Are you asking? Is that a question?
Well, I mean, I thought you would, you would say like, yeah, I think that's top quality content, or I don't think that, this is how conversations work.
Okay.
I'm only speaking to you.
All right. I mean,
it
might not be top quality content, but it's quality content. Like, it's decent. Yeah. All right.
What I'm trying to say is that if you're going to get Beast, you better have him doing beastly things. You better have him jumping around, throwing people around, reading a book from up on top of a roof, is what I'm saying. But
yes.
you're that hungry that you're just not... Yes, you're just not...
What did you want me to say to that? Oh, you need to have
I don't know,
like
think of something. You're going to be like, yes, I agree. When it comes to the beastly things that he does, this could have been done better.
Okay, well, let me talk about
I can't
Beast
give you the answers to my questions.
Let me talk about how they Beast could have done better. In the final fight, which I'm just jumping around because that's just what I'm going to do today.
That's what we do here, yeah.
He comes flying and he does the most hilarious pose you will ever see. Did you notice that?
Is it when he's like on off to the side a little bit? He's like diagonally flying at someone?
And he's got like one hand out to one side and one hand through the middle of his legs. I don't know what's going on there, but that's hilarious.
Like he's going for one guy's throat over there and then he's going for one guy's lips over here. But I'm not talking about the lips that we see. I'm talking about the other lips. But he is I would say that he's my favorite part of this movie. And from my memory, because I know that we've come in on the third movie, but he doesn't appear in the previous two.
Oh, doesn't he?
This is his first appearance within the X-Men movies, I believe. Could you quickly do some research on that? But I believe that that's the case.
I'm gonna look up Kelsey Grammer and see if he was in the other ones.
Yeah. Now, let's move on to the other cast. One thing that I was thinking when I was reflecting on X-Men First Class, and it probably should have been something that I reflected on during the podcast, but the X-Men is all about diversity. There's diverse individuals in there because that's what the mutants are. They're essentially meant to be, those people that are looked at as being different, but they are within society and they're able to live freely. That's what the X-Men want to create, right? And with diversity comes a diverse range of characters, not only mutant powers, but also ethnicities. In X-Men First Class, it's just white people.
Yeah. They killed off the one,
I know that there's two.
Ethnically diverse person real quick.
Yeah, there is also Zoe Kravitz. But she's thrown out of the movie in about 5 minutes.
They barely put her in the movie. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. And when you have such a great character like Storm in Halle Berry's, and I know that the first Halle Berry Storm, she's speaking in quite a deep African accent, and people didn't enjoy that. But in this one, do you remember that?
I don't remember that. No, I haven't. I honestly can't remember the first two X-Men movies.
So I don't really remember the first one that much, but I remember that Storm is speaking in an African accent, and I believe that she also says, "Do you know what happens to a frog when it gets hit by electricity?" And then he's like, "What?" And she's like, "The same thing that happens to everything else." That's a quote that they use in the movie. But
I mean, that's an absolute quote, though.
They have, people say that back in the day, 2006, people weren't woke back then. People are so woke now, they're looking for diverse cast members and all that these days. Why didn't they do that in X-Men? A movie in which, one, you should have diverse cast anyway, because that's just life. But also the X-Men.
Are you talking about this one or the one or First Class?
I'm talking about First Class. But also, it's, in some ways, I'm also talking about this one too.
This one is the same. There's just Halle Berry.
There's just Halle Berry, and then there's a couple people on the Brotherhood that are also ethnically diverse, but they're given about 2 seconds of playtime.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but this is the issue that I see here. This is X-Men. It's about diverse people, and then you got white people walking around speaking the Queen's English. In San Francisco of all places.
San Francisco, man. The home of the Golden State Warriors.
That's right. And shout out to them on another chip, And that's championship for you playing at home.
Yeah.
But they could have done better with that. They could have done better with that in all of these X-Men movies, I believe. Because, I know they got blue people, but, we haven't got blue people in this world.
No one's out here saying, man, I need more representation from blue people.
They got more blue people in this movie than they have people of colour. And that's the same as X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
And they got one red dude there as well. I want to know what your hits were, Vincent.
My hits? To be honest, my hit, I really enjoyed this movie. Compared to X-Men First Class, it was night and day for me. Because this, there was a lot of dumb stuff in this movie. For example, every single one-liner in this entire movie was not good. Especially the president. The president, the only thing he spoke was in one-liners.
And he was built funny as well.
He kind of was, but man... what did he say? He said, "Oh, Lord God, have mercy on us all." He said that one, which that's just the classic. Yeah. That's just the classic president line. I'm looking through my notes of some of the hits.
Also, why is the president running things in regards to army insurgents and whatnot? I don't know if insurgents is the right word.
He was the one.
He's not the one that's doing the play-by-play. Usually.
That's right. He's not saying like go Task Force Bravo. He's not saying that. He's approving it. He's putting his signature on the letter of approval on specification that has been given to him by the Secretary of Defense. He's not out there in the command room being like, "Hey, nah, shoot that guy on the left."
Because when there's all the, there's that guy that can turn himself into like as many people as he wants. He can quantify, he can increase his number, whatever. I can't even think of the words that I need, but they're there, on the tip of my tongue. And he's there looking at the screen, being like, "Yeah, jump in on this bloke."
Yeah,
like he's there commanding that. Imagine if Joey B or Donnie T was like in the mix.
Donnie T was in the mix, but also that dude that could multiply himself. Why, when they all came there, he turned into one head?
Because then they're just going to shoot him.
Yeah, that's right. Like, at least he could just run into all different directions and maybe he could get away. But what's he doing now? He's done.
He's done. He's smiling there. I guess he hasn't done anything wrong, really.
No, he did escape. They're at war now.
He did escape. They're at war. But he also did escape from he was meant to be going to jail for robbing 6 banks at the same time. Which, like, how do you catch a man that's at 6 places at once?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Because if you don't catch the original man...
Do you catch one of them? Like, is it... Yeah, that's... Are they all an original? And do they have to be at the same... Like, does he have to have the same heads all in the same place? Or... Yeah, that's weird. Because
if one man gets handcuffed... If one man gets handcuffed, right? And then he multiplies, all the man's handcuffed.
Well, his clothes...
Because that's a way to make money. That's a way to make money, though. You get a $100 bill, and you just multiply, you get all the heads to drop the $100 bills, you got $100 bills.
Bro, this man robbing banks, but he's not thinking. He is not thinking.
He's not thinking at all. If he just robbed one bank, he could have walked out, multiplied the money, even given the bank back the money, being like, "Look, I changed my ways, here's your money back." And he has all the bags at home.
That's right, he's got the bags. He could have held on to the bank building, just multiplied himself. He could have had like 16, 17 banks. Just chuck them in his backyard.
Man.
Then he could have been the bank, and he could have been robbing the people of our society. And he could have been doing it legally.
Yeah, dude.
Because he would have had the banks.
Well, that's even the mafia said there's someone there they don't want to mess with. That's the banks, That's what they said. The mafia said it.
Anyway,
we know the mafia because we're like ethnic.
That's right. We're like ethnic. We're not ethnic. We're like ethnic.
Yeah.
We're ethnic adjacent.
Like ethnics.
All right. So I've got a few hits and a few things that I think were funny. Mm-hmm. First of all, straight at the gate, Magneto and Professor X looked hilarious in the first scene. Yeah. Magneto especially. Professor X reminded me. Well, actually, they both reminded me of. Have you ever seen the photo of like the Google AI, where it's just a lady, but it's just like a rubber. It's like a rubber mask, and it's just like the front of her face and shoulders.
Let me have a look at it. If I type in Google AI, will it come up?
Type in Google AI lady. I don't know.
Is this the one that's becoming sentient?
Nah, that's not the one that's been in the news. This one's the one from a while ago. Nah, don't type in Google AI lady.
Because that's coming up with like some lady from like Google who works there.
Maybe it wasn't Google. Maybe it was Google. I'm just going to type in AI lady.
Oh, and now it's coming up with Google fires AI research.
Yeah, okay. Sophia the robot. That's who it is.
Sophia the robot. Yeah, I know Sophia the robot. That's the lady that's just been doing robotic things. Yeah.
She's been doing robotic things.
She does look like them.
Yeah.
Because they're too clean. They're too smooth.
Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
So we should
then
preface
we get
that
Wolverine lighting a cigar in a simulation.
Yeah.
Tell me how that works. Like, is the cigar simulated? Because theoretically the fire is simulated.
Because he gets it from the fire, right? He lights it up from the fire.
He lights it, which is, that's just Wolverine things. That's on brand for him. Yeah. But because if the fire is real, then that's wild simulations.
That is wild simulations. Now, technically, when I look at that whole simulation, I'm trying to figure out how they even just did it. Because, like, you got heads jumping into, like, you know, Wolverine getting thrown about 100 feet and then coming back with a Sentinel head. Where's the space?
The room's like 50 meters, and he's just been thrown 500 meters. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
But, I mean, that's X-Men things.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a message there that, you know, at the end of the movie, like, they don't really build on that message. So the message that comes out of that initial training sequence is that Wolverine doesn't play nicely within the team. He doesn't work with the team. He just does things himself. And then later in the film, you know, he says, "Oh, let's work as a team." But there was no build up to that.
Then he proceeds to kill Jean Grey like by himself. Like he didn't need anyone else's help.
Yeah. He just says, "Just go, and I'll do it myself."
That's right.
And he does. He does.
And maybe that's the message. Like some things are just better if you do them yourself.
That's right. That is a message that people say, though.
That is a message. Would have been hilarious if Cyclops crashed his bike because Mans didn't have a helmet. That's just, I mean, that's death right there. Like, would have been hilarious.
Like, that's how he died?
Yeah, like he's getting called to Jean Grey, and he's on the road, and then the next shot is Wolverine going out to find him. Like, oh, something's amiss, and it's just Cyclops laying dead in the road, some random road near a forest.
You know, if Cyclops died, then this whole movie wouldn't have happened as well. So,
That's
like,
true.
he could have saved a lot of people by dying.
Yeah.
So
it's actually Cyclops' fault that all the other people died.
It is. And, you know, he's my favourite X-Men, but I really didn't appreciate him for that. Can I tell you something about the Jean Grey? There are a couple of things that frustrated me because you've just reminded me with saying Cyclops.
Yeah.
So when Cyclops awakens Jean Grey and, you know, she's got the Phoenix in her and she can't control the Phoenix, right? She kills off Cyclops in the first 5 minutes of this movie. Now, I know that if you had watched this movie, if you had watched 1 and 2, you've had 2 movies with Cyclops involved. But they really killed off my man's James Marsden in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, I think then we're just left with the Cyclops-less. He was doing Superman Returns.
He was doing Superman Returns?
Yeah, that's what I'm reading here.
Who was he in Superman Returns?
His character was killed off due to his departure from the film.
Maybe Mans didn't like the Ratner. We'll just say that he didn't like the Ratner.
Yeah.
And I also didn't like that we've had 2 movies with her, but Mystique is a tremendous character.
Mystique also looks better in this one.
Has like 2 minutes in this movie than in X-Men First Class.
Yeah. Yeah, Mystique was real cool in this one. Real cool.
Yeah. But she gets like 2 minutes and then she's out.
Yeah, Magneto is cold as ice in this movie as well.
Dude, he is.
Like, he sees Mystique died and he's just like, you saved me. See ya. And then as soon as he sees his best friend or childhood friend or whatever, Professor X, disintegrate in front of his eyes, and he's like, "That's a damn shame." Hey, Jean Grey, let's go disintegrate some other heads.
Yeah, I love that because he gets upset when she's disintegrating him, right? He goes like, oh, like yells like Ian McKellen, right? But then he's just cool with it.
Yeah, and then he's trying to tell Wolverine like, I lost a friend too. Like, bro, you did not care.
Dude. How did he get his comeuppance at the end? Who stabbed him with the
Beast.
With the needle? Beast did.
Beast. Okay. He stabbed him with 4 needles.
Dude, he messed him up, huh?
But now, he's out there at the end, floating around chess pieces, so
he is. I want to say a couple of hits real quick. My biggest hit, one of my biggest hits was when I think his name is Angel, the guy with the wings, when he's going to be the first test subject to get the new mutant cure, and then he like snaps through the things, and he comes out, and his wings are just looking like angelic, and then he just flies out the window. That's a classic. That's a classic bit. But
I mean, that whole there was basically 3 parts to his story. Him when he was a kid, him when he breaks out of the shackles and flies off, and then him when he saves his dad. The first 2 I'm 100% in for. The one where he saves his dad, I don't know, man. That was just, I mean, like, I get it, but also it felt like it wasn't quite enough. Like, it needed a little bit more. It needed like a step in between. I felt like it was a bit forced, but also would have been hilarious if it was like, "Hey, look, Dad, I saved you," and then just drops him.
I was thinking it'd also be hilarious if he was like, "Hey, look, Dad, I saved you," and then the dad like stabs him with a needle and says, "I saved you too, son." So, Dad, we're 300 feet in the air. And then he just loses his wings, and his dad's like, "Jesus Christ, I didn't run the simulations."
Bro, that would be hilarious. That would have been best.
Imagine the horror, though. So, you know, with Wolverine, with this winged man Angel, if they got the serum and they lost their powers, mans would have literally lost appendages.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
Does Wolverine just lose all his bones?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's just boneless.
Well, I'm assuming he wouldn't have lost his bones. Like, the adamantium in him is not him.
It's not his power. He was
implanted into him. So, yeah, I don't know what. I assume he just loses his claws and his healing factor. But I mean, there's you know, the whole, you know, mutant cure is rife with discrepancies.
Yeah, and look, this movie. I think that it's fine for that to occur because this movie is cheesy and it's fun, and that's what it's aiming to do. It's just aiming to have fun. It absolutely
is cheesy. It absolutely, like, this is a movie that they said, you know, let's just do like superhero things, and let's just make it like edgy but cool but also funny. And look, I thought the movie was great, but it's not a perfect movie, and I'm not going to say like, it was really well done. Like, it was a really good film. It was just a fun movie that made me happy to see heads with like, that could take antlers out of his forearms and start throwing them, and that's like all he could do, and that was the best, you know.
Like, man, literally, they look like antlers. Like, they even have the grooves of like what antlers have. Yeah. So, I think that I've been saying this to myself in my head, you know. But in my head, I've been speaking to a whole audience of people, you know, the audience that we don't get on the Back Catalogue podcast. But I've been speaking to them. And I've been saying that this era of superhero movies, I think that we were lucky in this era because they were just movies where they came out to just have fun. They didn't always need to be interconnectedness. Like, even this X-Men trilogy, it's all the same stuff, but there's no, like, you know, moving plots throughout the 3 movies. It's just, you know, we're the X-Men. There's this brotherhood that they do non-X-Men things. You know, sometimes we fight. People don't like us because we're mutants, but that's really it. But we'll just do action and fun and cheesiness. It's the same as the Spider-Man movies. Like, even the relationships in those first 3 Spider-Man movies, they progress, but really it's just Spider-Man doing Spider-Man things.
Yeah, but I mean, you can say that about a lot of the movies in the MCU in terms of their own.
But I think the MCU. What I'm trying to say is, I think
a lot of them were interconnected
they have a better
between
plan.
Movies.
They have a better plan, and they're taking themselves a lot more seriously, even the comedic ones. Whereas these ones, they're straight up. This is not a comedy movie. Like, you know, this is not like Thor Ragnarok, but it's almost just as funny as Thor Ragnarok because it's so cheesy.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there's something great in that.
When the president looked past the camera and said, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned."
Yeah,
like, you know,
said.
Right? You know, someone wrote that and was like, "Bro, they're gonna laugh at this in when it comes out in cinemas." Like, that's like, hilarious.
And that's the end of that's end scene.
Yeah,
like, director said, and cut after that. No wonder the Ratner got cancelled, man. If he's saying stuff like that and he's saying end cut.
Yeah. All right. So
we can't forget about
knock
the,
off.
the
Oh no, you go. Okay.
knock off a couple.
That was a lot of talking over the top.
We can't forget about the the Golden Gate Bridge scene.
I mean,
you have
there's
that on
101
your
better
list.
ways to get over the ocean.
Like just walking.
Well, I mean,
I guess because it's an island. It was an island, right?
it was
It's
an
on
island,
Alcatraz.
yeah. But I mean, I think it was more of a like, hey, look what I can do, boys. Hey, fellas, look at this. But it would have been hilarious if he got there and was like, I'm losing it, and then the Golden Gate Bridge just goes in there and they all drown.
I'm losing it. That's hilarious. I know that this is
All
off
right.
topic, but that just reminded me of the line when he's like, in a game of chess, we must let the pawns go first.
Oh yeah.
And all those heads
And
run
then
in,
it's
they
just
just
like
die straight away.
generic street thug number 341. They all look the same. They told him, hey man, like you're getting called up to the X-Men Last Stand. Like you're gonna do the final battle. You're gonna be a mutant. You're gonna have antlers or something. I don't know what appendage it's gonna come out of, but you're gonna have antlers somewhere. Oh, okay. What do I wear? Like, what are you wearing right now? Oh, like a hoodie and sweatpants, bro. That's good. Let's go.
Yeah. Like I'm just wearing a beanie and a vest. No sleeves though. Yeah. Just go.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Step
what
on.
men's look like.
I just spat everywhere.
Tell me
that
some of
was
those
hilarious.
hits. List them off.
I'll list them up. So, I mean, how is Magneto going to call it the Brotherhood? He did not think of that through. I guess the same thing can be sort of said as like X-Men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're already excluding 50% of your candidates. When Storm, I mean, some of the actions, like when Storm did like lightning things, she started spinning around. She can conjure up lightning and zap someone from, many meters away, but she's decided that she's going to turn herself into a tornado and go to the head.
And zap him while she's there, like in danger.
Maybe she thinks like, when you go on carpet and you rub your feet on your socks on carpet and then you zap someone, she's thinking maybe she spins around, she'll generate more charge, more electricity. So that's hilarious.
Yeah, I think that I agree with that.
They reused the same forest shot twice.
Is that when the Brotherhood are all like...
Yeah, as in when it was
this?
like an establishing shot of just the forest and it was just like going over. They used the same shot twice. I can almost guarantee it. I didn't go back to look, but I can almost guarantee it.
Well, I'm looking at a photo of Brett Ratner right now, and like, man's looked like he would use the same shot because like he looked like he also had cocaine on the other end of the camera and he was just snorting it. Like, I'm not saying that's what he did, but he looks like the sort of guy that would like on set.
Yeah, if you told me that, I would believe you. So the when I don't know the dude's name, Iceman, Mr. Ice, young ice fella.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rogue is 100% justified in, just dumping his ass. How are you gonna take another female, not your partner, and go ice skating? Like kill a whole bunch of fish. That's beside the point. But in the middle of the night to console her.
And I mean, I guess we missed the first two movies, but like, where did that come from? Like, hey, I know you can't do ice skating things, but let's do ice skating things, baby. Like, come on, baby. Like my
You missed the
girlfriend, she
snow.
doesn't
I'll
have
give
view
you
of
snow.
this. It's like
Could
my
go
girlfriend
one of
doesn't
two
have a view
ways.
of this specific space. Like, man's could have gone anywhere else, but he went right outside Rogue's window.
Bro, that's just dumb.
And then she's talking about, I don't want to be a mutant anymore. She's talking
Yeah.
about, I don't want to be a mutant anymore. And people are like, oh, why not? Like, I literally kill people when I touch them.
Yeah, that's.
Like, what can I do with that?
It's a very concentrated way of thinking. I don't know the other word. There's another word, But I mean, I think the cure would be good for heads that would just be like typecast into specific jobs. You know what I mean? Because you think about it, there's a lot of mutants. They're not all going to be superheroes. Or supervillains.
Well,
Some heads are just going to be
That's
doing
right.
jobs, and this man's like, oh, well, you got antlers. all right, well, you're going to be in the zoo, and we've got these white antelopes, right? And like they ain't no male antelopes. Well, we need people to like, they're endangered species. We need them to reproduce. Can you just like wave these antlers around and see what happens?
Like, we're just running simulations here. Let's see what happens.
That's right. If I was doing that, if that was my choice, bro, kill me up.
Well, and it's like, you don't want to be that guy that's like, yeah, I just got size 43 feet, and that's all I got. Like, they're not strong. They actually keep me off balance all the time. Like, I'm bumping into people in a line. I literally have to stay 4 meters, behind someone else, because otherwise I'm touching their ankles.
Yeah.
You cue yourself up. Imagine you get the jab and it's just like, my feet are still big.
Yeah, that's
like, man's just never had a mutation. He was just born different. His mum was Shaq and his dad was someone else.
But I mean, that's the whole thing. Like Storm telling Rogue, no, there's nothing wrong with you. Try me now. Just like puts her hand on her face and then she's dead. What do you do with that? There's like,
you can't do anything, man. You just gotta let people live. Live and let live.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like if you had a mutation,
thing that I think is
where you every time you spat out something, it would turn into like this chemical situation, and you also had butterfly wings. Like the butterfly wings would be good, but if you just spat every time and you gave acid burns to someone.
Well, like, I mean, what does your saliva do? Like, if you're drooling, like you get a big plate of pasta in front of you, you're like, oh, bro, this looks good, and then now you put a hole through your table and your floor. That's right, because you just drooled.
Kill me up.
Now, I think we're coming to a close.
We've got a minute 50. I'm going to say the last few things. No. I'm going to say the last few things.
Talk about Leech, though. Just talk about Leech.
Leech. What about Leech? Like, fight, freeze, or trauma. Like, that kid's just got trauma.
Yeah, but the funny thing about that kid is he goes to this school, to the Charles Xavier School for like higher learning, to grow hair. But also, he's a mutant that stops other mutants from having their powers. So every class member that he has is just going to fail their tests. Like, hey, bro, you got mutant powers over here, but you can't use them, so that's an F. And Leech is the only man that's getting A's.
Well, I mean, do they do actual schoolwork there, or are they all just dumb as bricks?
I think they might be dumb as bricks, bro.
They're just like, well, you can punch things good. You don't need how to know how to English.
I mean, that's 90% of the UFC roster that are even from America. They know how to punch good, but they don't speak good English.
Yeah. The last thing that I will say is that it was very considerate of Jean Grey to leave Wolverine's pants on while he was being disintegrated. Like, let's have a look at the chest. Let's not have a look at anything below the belt, and I respect that.
Mm-hmm. No, this is for real. This is a 7.8 out of 10. This was a fun ride. It's enjoyable. Good throwback.
Yeah. The only thing is there were just too many one-liners. That's just what happened back then,
That's of the time. That's
like people thought it was cool, like, yeah, and I'm the issue or something. That's a terrible one-liner, and then it just cuts, and then it does, I don't know, a shot of a forest.
Oh man. Yeah, man.
All right, well, our free meeting has ended, so I don't know what Apo's saying, but I'm saying talk soon.
He's got the time on his thing, but he was yapping.
If Apo's still there, I don't know what to do. It is what it is.
Yes, Vincent, I agree. Yes. Ain't nobody watch this shit anyway. Vincent, you rounded it out, right, for the people?
Are you still recording?
Yeah. Should I not record anymore? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? I'm not recording no more. I'm not recording.